Well, g'day flatties and globe defenders. It's Critical Thing from Down Under.
So I received a message that some Wally had made a video about proof of looming and had tagged me in it in the description, and I can't tell you how excited I was. For years and years now I've been asking for proof of looming. In fact, I get so tired of repeating it. I never thought for a moment someone would actually be able to do it. I thought it was a step too far for the Globers. You see, they have landed men on the moon, have humans orbiting the Earth, have sent probes deeper and further than Uranus, and yet this one little task seemed to elude their science. Until now. Critical Think stepped up to the mark, but could he deliver? Could this holy grail of proofs be about to unravel my belief in the flat Earth? Was this the moment I was sent back to the globe? Let's get into it. So the first 8 minutes of this video is essentially a guy who is very upset that I claimed that most Globers do not do tests or experiments, listing test after test that just a handful of people have conducted, including himself. The Globers are so lazy.
So you heard what was said there. Globers are so lazy, and 99% of them don't actually go outside. There's one or two that do something, but 99% don't go outside. Well, first of all, I'm just going to point out that that's wrong. Let's just take a small sample of the wolf pack and Australian debunkers, and I will take a little bit look first at my work and a small sample of their work. Now, this is a sample I've taken of 5 Globers. So according to that statement, 99% of them don't get out. This is me getting out. And here's me going out at Byron Bay with the red tube experiment. And here we are at the wind farm in Thailand. I've created a model of the globe to illustrate some points, to try and educate flat earthers on some things, to use the model to illustrate what happens. Byron Bay, and at Moffat Beach, anti-crepuscular rays in Phetchabun in Thailand, flight over Antarctica, crepuscular rays in Nong Khai in Thailand, weight versus latitude measurements I've done in Brisbane, Perth, Phuket, Nong Khai, Mount Cootha in Brisbane, Phuket again, taking pictures in Perth, Bang Wat Dam in Phuket, some more pictures from Mount Cootha, lunar transit, the ISS, measuring vacuum next to air pressure, and looking another sunset in Phuket at Butane Beach, and some more photos from Moffat Beach. And I've done some modelling of the flat Earth, taken some photos of shadows, solar transit, and here's what curve looks like. And then we have other members of the wolf pack. Ruhif, he's gone to California to take these measurements. He's gone to the Blue Mountains to take another measurement. Whereas Wally constructed all of this to do the moonlight test. Where's Wally and his moon field rotation project? Wade's Underworld and his Australian sunset. Wade's Underworld and his star trails. And Hugh Jars, he's doing the great observation in the Southern Hemisphere experiment. Wolfie, of course, Wolfie 6020. He's on the way to Hawaii in this one, at the Washington DC, the monument, New York. So here's Del Boy 1967, he's another Aussie. He's done the whole solar eclipse scale model thing. And you know, Mr. Thrive and Survive asked for an experiment to be done, and Mr. Sensible did it, Bobby Shafto did it, and Where's Wally did it.
So as much as that was tedious to listen to, it's also confirmed my statement that most, or 99%, do not do experiments. He likes maths, so let's put this to the test.
Mathematics is important. It's what separates the children from the adults in the science world.
Even with his own words, he lists just 5. That would mean if there were just 500 Globers, then that would be 99%. Thanks, Critical Think. In Gem Panda's Discord server, which is for the most part Globers, there are 1,500 members. So if there were 15 Globers with tests and experiments, then that too would make up just 1%, or 99% that do not. Thank you for validating my claim. The next 9 minutes, you can just skip, as it's complete and utter horseshit. Finally, after 17 minutes of butthurt Glober gibberish, we get to the point. And I thought the rumpus could obfuscate. Proof number 1. Seeing a clip over a driveway on a warm day, then pouring cold water on the surface, reducing the distortion.
Somebody else has already done this kind of test. They've done it on their driveway, which is a good one because the driveway would be hot. So let's take a look. So the driveway is curved. There's another longer video that does show that. So don't try and deny that, flatties. So he's going to pour some cool water, create a temperature difference in the air. Maybe a little bit of moisture as well, I don't know. But the water runs down the driveway and cools a proportion of the driveway. And look at that, you can see something which was previously obscured by the curve. So it's loomed up. So something has been loomed up from behind an obstruction. Pretty simple. How can you get that wrong?
No, Critical Think. In actual fact, this is a perfect example of sinking. Dearie me, this is shocking. The clip top does not move a single pixel during the experiment. If this was looming, the entire clip would be loomed up, lifted up, displaced from its original position. You could mark the top of it and see a movement upwards, denoting a change in position. We do not see that. In fact, the warm surface pulls the lower part of the image down, as shown in these still shots. The cooling of the surface simply removes the effect and restores the image to its original shape. How on earth have you included this as proof of looming? This is shocking. This is not what I asked for, but thank you for showing this test, as it is a great proof of sinking, things disappearing from the bottom up due to refraction. Are you a Poe, Critical Think? Look, let me make this simple for you, and for the 1000th time repeat my question, a question that has still to be answered. Can any glober or flat earther provide me proof of looming? I want to see a building or an object lifted up from beyond Earth curve in its entirety. I want to be able to see the target without any distortion and not be able to tell the difference between an image of the target and the hologram projection that we are presented with. How many more times does this need to be asked before the task is completed in its entirety? Let's move on. His second proof. Pouring butane on a curved pipe to reveal a coloured bit of plasticine behind it.
So how can this happen, I hear you ask? Well, let's have a look at Dan Joss. He is demonstrating how to use liquid nitrogen to create a hot air, cold air temperature gradient and allowing the light to bend over the curve.
That smudge lifting up is something that is loomed, lifted up. Yes, that's what it is, loomed up over the curve.
A semi-proof. In this case, the severe temperature gradient allows the plasticine to be shown in a smudge-like form. It is interesting to note that the purveyor of these tests never use an object such as a toy car or a light to do the test. This is because we only ever see a smudge. This is the most disingenuous test, as it gives the illusion of a proof of concept when it is nothing of the sort, and certainly not what flat earthers are asking for. It may provide a comfort blanket for the globers and the sheep that follow you, but it is nowhere near the proof that we ask for. A smudge is not a building. A smudge is not a tree. A smudge is not a car, a human, a dog, elephant, or even a gazelle. It is just a smudge. Here, let me show you some flat earth proofs that, because your model and mathematics says is a hologram, aka loomed up projection from beyond Earth curve, defies the smudge you presented as proof. Let me see your butane loom up something in its entirety, as I have asked many times. Then you will have something. Until then, a smudge is not reality. A smudge is not proof of looming. You got that? Lastly, we have Critical Think doing his own experiment. In this test, he places a level in front of a glass, creating a blockage. The glass has a coin placed in the bottom and is filled with water. The coin is now visible.
Now, Randy's asked for proof that something can be loomed up from behind an obstruction. So something behind something, because of refraction, it can become visible. So here's my experiment. This is my obstruction, my flat earth theodolite there, and I have some water in a glass behind there. Now, the bottom of the glass is behind the obstruction. You can clearly see that. So there is something obstructed and you can't see it normally. But with refraction, you can see it. So this is an illustration of the principle that refraction can bring something up over an obstacle. Now, it's only a very, very short distance, so we have to use extreme refraction again. So let's start. We get the focus will come in a minute. and there. So I'm just going to pause that. There is a coin at the bottom of the glass. So you can see the coin there. Now that coin is not where it is. That is an apparent position. It's loomed up.
Dear oh dear, has it come to this? That I have to tell a glober about reality? Well, it would seem so. Where to start? Well, the air is a gas, unless the air is cooled so much that it changes into a liquid. But for the purposes of his experiment and for anything conducted here at sea level, the air is a gas. Let me repeat that. It is a gas. The water Critical Think is using is a liquid. It is a liquid. We have two different mediums here, gas and liquid. This is like me trying to paint a house with a plank of wood. This is like me trying to drive a tortoise. This is like me trying to turn the telly over with a carrot. You hear me? It's not reality. Hey, if I wanted to use a mirror to perform the same task, just think about that. This is not reality. I commend you for trying though, but this is not proof of looming in the atmosphere, is it? Did you really think this would pass muster? Look, it may be good enough for your glober friends, but here, where people with intelligence reside, here on flat Earth, this is not nearly enough. Everyone knows that when you are looking in water and what you see and where it is not the same. Even fishermen who hunt with spears know this, and have honed their skills to account for this. This is not new science. Those fishermen who have traditions dating back thousands of years could have thought of this test. That is why we have long ago debunked this test. It is old bullshit, rehashed to sound fresh, when in reality nobody takes it seriously, and why I have spent a few minutes trying to tell you this, I really don't know. I expected better, I really did. The globe Earth was calling me back, tempting me with proof of looming. Instead, all I got was just old hash, rehashed to sound relevant. Your new followers may think this is all fine and dandy, but you know, don't you, as do all your friends who have been around for a long time, that these tests were debunked over and over. But I guess if you hash them every year or so to the new subscribers, it really doesn't matter because they won't have seen the debunks. So you come across as some form of genius when in reality every flat earther is laughing at you. No offence, but you really should try something that actually backs up your claims. You know, these do not, but you still parrot them. This is proving frustrating that you think these old and tired proofs actually prove something. You know they don't, so why do you regurgitate them? It's nonsense, and you know it. When are you going to step up and perform a test that does what it says on the tin? Why do you think we get so exasperated with your tests? Well, this is the reason. Bullshit videos like this, a video with more filler in it than a decorator uses, a video with more garbage in it than a refuse truck, a video in it with really, really very old, very debunked previous tests that have been dismissed over and over and over again. When will you get it? When will you realise that what you are selling, we aren't buying? Do us all a favour next time and provide what we ask for. It really is that simple. We are not interested in these abortions that you show off as proof. They are not proof. How many more times does this circle jerk have to happen before you actually do something different?